Welcome to FIRELAB session number 5, Alan.
Thank you, Dane.
Thank you for coming without really even knowing me too well, but you've been kind of following me for some time, and then we just met, and it was funny because you knew me when I had hair, and I don't have hair, so it took you a minute to recognize me.
I didn't recognize you at all. I didn't know what you looked like even with hair. I just remembered your voice from the singing. And then from your previous work, I just heard you on podcasts.
Okay.
And so,
You recognize me through voice.
I think so.
That's amazing.
Well, remember the songs.
Yes.
And the birthday song, yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming, man. I'm excited to give people a different cut to who you are than like the traditional kind of podcast episode.
Yeah.
So just to reiterate, what we'll do today is we're looking to understand your world, to understand where we might be able to help uplift, be a blessing, remove any constraints, and really serve you. So the whole intention of the entire call is just like my entire directive is just to direct so much care towards you as we search where we might be able to help. Does sound like a worthy expedition?
Can't say no to that. Yeah. Serve me.
It's actually interesting to say it out loud. It's like, well, do I have permission to love people this much?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. That's a great life.
Yeah.
Can you give a quick 3-minute or so backstory, kind of a little bit of who you are and kind of your journey, including biz, to like what you're up to now?
My name is Alan VanToai. I live here in Austin, Texas, where you and I connected, originally from the DC area. Lived abroad for 7 years before moving to Austin. After college and while living abroad, I always knew like entrepreneurship was my path, and story for another day, but started in software, like Bootstrapped SaaS, which is how I first heard about you and the foundation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, back in like 2010 through 2017, 18, I built and sold 3 small SaaS businesses, all bootstrapped, 5 or 6 figure monthly revenue, 6-figure exits. I was living in Vietnam 2014 to 2020 until COVID. While I was out there in 2017, I got into crypto, as everyone does in that era, transitioned into services for crypto projects, and that turned into seed investments as an early contributor to a decentralized exchange called ThorChain, and spent the next 4 or 5 years of my career from 2018 to 2022 building the ThorChain ecosystem. End of 2021 into 2022, market correction, FTX implosion, Luna death spiral. I got super burnt out of crypto, and just, for a year and a half, 2 years, was on a journey of exploration, expansion, fun, play, health, and wellness. That led me to getting into personal development and transformation in the last year and a half, 2 years. Ascension Leadership Academy here in Austin was a big impact on me, and led me to recognizing that for the next chapter of my career, I was curious about, I've done a lot in digital and online, like software and crypto and NFTs, and I wanted to do something physical, tangible, and also health and wellness oriented. I recognized was something I wanted to sort of orient the next chapter of my life towards. Friends with Dave Asprey here in Austin. He and I were talking about his red light therapy business, TrueLight, which was the runt of the litter in his 8 or 9 brand portfolio, smallest one. We worked out a deal. I acquired it, closed on it about 5-6 weeks ago, and have been navigating, orchestrating that transition, migration, and see that as an opportunity to build brands in the field of health and wellness. I'm considering also adding other e-commerce businesses around health and wellness to the portfolio. Also, there's an opportunity cost to focus. So that's something that I'm like actively kind of sussing out right now. But yeah, that's today. Aside from that, I'm like I said, passionate about personal development, transformation. I love fun, partying, hosting events. I DJ. I'm a burner. I run a Burning Man camp, and really passionate about family, friends, connection, community here in Austin. So yeah,
that's fire. I want to dive into where we could really serve you. So I want to shift context a little bit and move into the dice session, which I had you read briefly about, DICE. And we'll roll the dice, so to speak, and see if we come out with a 6.
Okay.
And to do that, I want to start by asking if you could just kind of like just scan your heart and scan your mind. If you scan your heart, what are some of kind of difficulties that you're up against right now? And also desires that you kind of, I want to kind of do a discovery of you of like, man, where are things difficult and where are some desires? And I'll be taking notes on my computer for them.
Let's see. I did visualization meditation yesterday, and was like pulling desires. And so some of the things that immediately come up are like, I would say like financially right now, like I have done well for myself, but then also like in the last, like this cycle with the nature of like my earnings and majority of my net worth has been and continues to be in crypto. And this has been a very underwhelming sort of cycle. And so my portfolio now is less than it was in 2021. And that doesn't feel good. It's just like I think that's actually a common story for a lot of people that are in crypto outside
Absolutely,
of just
man.
Bitcoin.
We all long for those days.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And because of the nature of the way that I experienced the burnout that I had end of 2021 into 2022, I had the blessing of a big enough nest egg and capital base to kind of live off of and even invest into these businesses, but also haven't had net positive cash flow during that period. So like very fortunate that I have that nest egg to sustain me, but also getting back to cash flow positive, especially right now. And it's obviously there's social and political, but even beside that, technological, like what does the economy and society look like a year from now? So that's a broader sort of like financial sense of like urgency. The shadow side of that might be feelings of scarcity, and the discomfort that arises with that. And then there's some like more specific things to my business that, like e-commerce versus SaaS or crypto, way more capital intensive. So one of the things that I'm measuring right now is if I want to start taking, at what point I can start to sustain myself in the business and like having enough cash flow to take those distributions while also having enough capital for working capital, inventory, and growth of the business, given that it's e-commerce. So a lot to learn there. Yeah, it's a handful of things that are on my mind right now.
Oh, thank you for sharing, man. What's it like to get to say it all out loud?
Thank you for asking. Good. I also like these are actively, I feel like I explore these questions and like pretty thoughtful about them with either my own like reflections or with support from like I do feel supported, and I have, whether it's my roommate who is my coach in LA or some of our friends we were talking about earlier. We're in like a new accountability program together, and I have Austin's such a rich community of entrepreneurs. So like whether dinners with other e-commerce founders or former business partners, like I do get the opportunity to like explore these. And so, yeah, these are things that I'm like, that are in my awareness, but always feels good to share them and then get new perspective on them, which is why we're here.
Amazing. Are there any nerves or anxiety sharing any of these? Or is it mostly kind of feel comfortable to share?
Good question. Everything that I shared with you, probably not. I mean, like, I think the no net positive cash flow thing, there could be like an edge of shame around, but I don't think that that's unique to the entrepreneurial dynamic. Like entrepreneurs have very unconventional personal finances.
Well, thank you for sharing it, man. Feel a level of respect and admiration for your ability to share this stuff openly, and I'm imagining it's helping other people relax too, to be like, the same stuff going on.
Sure. Yeah.
So in terms of desires, and we have this list as you're looking at it on the screen there, you can see it.
Yeah.
Tell me about, are there any difficulties presently with the new business acquisition with Dave Asprey that are present?
Definitely. I mean, such as the tale of e-commerce, like cash flow. Like I got it.
So it's an e-com.
It's e-commerce,
And
physical product.
You're selling red light stuff on
I'm selling
e-com?
red light therapy products.
Okay. So what do you mean by cash flow?
So for example, I acquired the business, and like pretty quickly, one of the best selling products needed an inventory order, and it was like, got the business, and then boom, $40,000 required to invest in inventory. And granted, the retail value of that inventory will be, turn around and be $180,000. So like, it'll be a profitable investment over the right time period. But like, the e-commerce business, financing inventory across 2 or 3 main product lines. The business is responsible for, we took what's called seller financing on the business. So Dave Asprey, the previous owner of the business, agreed to sell me the business with little or no money down, and then I pay him every quarter until the agreed upon amount is paid off. So currently I have a quarterly debt payment to him. That's another requirement, cash flow requirement. Cash for top of funnel ad, paid social, and user generated content, software development or Shopify landing page development, email flows, any sort of service providers that we're bringing on. And then eventually, once the ads are ready and the Shopify site is ready, paid social is going to be one of the primary growth channels that we're going to experiment with first. And that's going to be, it takes money to put into those funnels. So having working capital to finance this business. And then there's another, underneath just having the capital is also allocating it in the right balance. So that we know.
Seems really tricky.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Way more tricky than I'd imagine.
In software, right?
Yeah.
Like
developers.
Yeah. And with you can sell one license, sell a trillion licenses. It's all, most of the same. But with e-commerce, it's like, okay, how many units of inventory? And there's the added variable of like, okay, so they come from China. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to create them. And then another 10 days to 5 weeks to ship them, depending on what shipping option I choose. How many units do I order based on what my projections are? And my projections are based on...
Okay, back up a second. You said the product comes to China. From China. From China. And then 6 to 8 weeks to make... So all the parts come from China and they get manufactured in America?
All the parts are sourced from different suppliers in China to a primary manufacturer facility in Guangzhou, China. That whole process from order to ready to ship takes 6 or 7 weeks.
Cool.
And then there's different shipping options from air to ocean freight. Those can take anywhere from 10 to 35 days for shipping, and they charge different rates for those. They come to America. I have a third-party fulfillment center that does all my shipping fulfillment for me that's based in Ohio. So this is another sort of like logistical piece of like, okay, how much capital, there's a multivariate equation that's like, okay, how much do I invest in ads? How much do I invest in inventory? How much inventory am I buying and how long will that last me? The cardinal sin is to sell out.
I love how fast you talk.
Sorry.
No, I literally do. It's like, oh, this is so refreshing. How much in inventory?
How many weeks of inventory is that?
All right.
And then from there, when do I reorder?
Depends on how much you put in ads. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. No, exactly. No, so that's exactly it.
One of my favorite things about doing FIRELAB is we see that by just surrendering my mind and getting into your world and inhabiting a place of service, that there's like not a lack of opportunity in the world. But there are like, dude, there's like 5 different opportunities here we could explore. And it's like, oh, there is literal abundance.
Yes.
It's hard to keep track already. And doing 8, there is this comforting, like, imagine doing what I'm doing with you 7 other times. And you're like, oh God, there really is opportunity.
7,000 opportunities.
There's, kind of.
Yeah.
There really is. So I'm really excited to explore this. I'm like, wow, okay, this is hard to pick.
Great.
So let's rate these difficulties on like a pain scale from 1 to 10 and see where that takes us. So the difficulty of cash flow in the e-com business, what would you give that, like a gut level pain 1 to 10?
7.5.
7.5. How about the $40,000 to invest in inventory for the $140,000 plus return?
3.5.
I love it. No one's given me 0.5s yet. It's fantastic. Financing inventory across 2 or 3 product lines.
7.
The seller financing quarterly debt payments.
7.
The cash for the top of funnel, the UGC content, and cash for tech development.
I would say 3 for that.
Wow, cool. The paid social, the concept, not the cash, but now the action of doing paid social to explore your first marketing channel. What's the level of pain associated with that activity?
Currently, it's a solved problem for me. So I would say a 1 currently.
Okay. Having working capital to finance the business.
That's related to like a lot of the 7s and 8s. So like 7, 8, yeah.
Okay. Allocating capital in the right manner. Like how much do you Invest in ads. How much in inventory? How many weeks of inventory is that? Allocating
I say
capital.
low just because that's going to come up later. Right now, there's a few things that I have 500 units in flight right now. And so it's like,
That's
okay,
cool.
that's like solved for now. And it'll come back and like talk to me in like 6 to 8 weeks. Like, so right now it feels like a 1, but in like 2 months, I'll be like, okay, now it's a 7 or an 8 again.
So going through this list, are there any pains not on this list that would actually be a 10 or a 9, anything higher in any other area?
The relationship one is funny because
Right.
it's like, you know, day to day, I don't feel like this loneliness, this gap, this like deep, painful soul longing or anything. But when I spend time with my parents, or when I go to a wedding, or when I'm with my sister and brother-in-law and I'm out of Austin, out of my daily routine here, and I check in with that part of my life, and I'm like, oh, it's easy to not wear that too heavily in my normal day-to-day life in Austin, but at certain acute moments, it does strike me.
What number would you give it?
I think at its most acute, I would say, I mean, in terms of just priority, like I would say it's the 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so open, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, I feel so excited.
Yeah.
Honesty is amazing.
Let's go. Yeah.
Honesty is so great. So I want to do two quick things here. What I want to do is, you see here we have a before, during, and after. And I love breaking contexts down into what happens before, what happens during, and what happens after that context.
Mm-hmm.
Could you riff on all the things that need to happen before, during, and after the sale of these red light things? So tell me all the things that go in, what happens before getting these things sold? So what are all the things that go into before?
Let's see. So placing the inventory order, lining up third-party logistics, like the shipping warehouse. For me, part of it was like migrating from the old WooCommerce build to Shopify for various reasons. There's a lot that goes into that: data migration, front-end development.
It's good. What next?
Yeah. Conversion rate optimization, email flows, setting up effective email flows and email capture, like top of funnel email capture kind of features, user generated content creation or ad creative more broadly. That will be the fuel for the Facebook meta ads strategy. And there's actually a higher level thing that I didn't mention here, which is that I want to interview, like just do customer development interviews with at least 10 or 20 of the past customers to really understand why they bought red light therapy in the first place, and then why they bought this product and what feedback they have. So I think like a lot of customer development that gets to happen as well. And then
It'd be a game changer, dude.
Yeah.
There's a story of a guy who would watch people buy his TV mounts at Target, and then he would follow them and ask them, hey, why did you buy it? And they said, well, when I read the product specifications, it said it was made by airplane steel. And so I figured it would never drop my TV if it's made by airplane steel. And so he went to his box manufacturers and he had it made by airplane steel real big on the front of the box. Product just pops, sells off the shelf at Target like crazy.
Yeah.
Just because he's doing the customer development interviews.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. Man.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You're going to find that out. You're going to find, the one thing like, oh, you put it in the product, conversion rate goes up.
Exactly. You're never above that, like
no.
Mr. Beast is out there going to Walmart, like looking at Feastables, like, and watching people buy them. So like, I think you're just never above that. So
yeah, if you ever put yourself above your customer, your bank account will go down. So you don't ever want to be above that. Yeah. We'll call this one done.
Okay.
For before, what are some of the things you're doing to make the sale and get the sale to happen?
That'll be overseeing the paid ads, funnels, optimize, like tracking for that. That will look at the success or failure of different ad creatives and adjust spend based on conversions, looking at ROAS and CAC, basically. Conversion rate optimization. So just looking at the data as we start to drive traffic, seeing what percentage the page is converting at and seeing what we can do to increase conversion rates. Post-purchase surveys for understanding other sort of like nurture sequences. So like if they opt into email communications, like sharing the brand story, cross-sells, upsells. Also, I mean, that generates revenue, which we then have the opportunity to do resource allocation decisions with. For every dollar that we earn, resource allocation.
Sales.
Yep. What am I not thinking of?
It's pretty good for the top of your head, man.
I would say also at some point there's alternative offers, creating and generating alternative offers. So new product R&D.
As we look at these, I would like to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you like help with each of these? And we can rip through them. I give you like, you know what? I want help with this at a scale of 1 to 10. I don't want help with this at a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
So pricing, inventory, orders. Would you like help with that on a scale of 1 to 10?
6.
Okay. Lining up third-party logistics for the shipping warehouse.
That's done. So I'd say 0 or 1.
0. Migrating from the Woo to Shopify.
Right now that's a 1 or 2.
Would you want help with it?
Oh,
ever?
Down the line? Sure. Yeah. At scale for sure.
Potential for 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Good to know. Setting up email flows and lead capture. Would you like help with that? You can bring that up.
8.
Awesome. UGC creation, like ad creative to fuel growth.
Currently a solved problem.
Make it a 0. This is a 0?
0.
And depending on how good they do.
Yeah.
Customer development interviews at 10 to 20 customers. Would you like someone else to do that or help with that? Help with that? Scale of 1 to 10?
That would be nice. Yeah. Like 8 or 9. If I had infinite resources and I could just have someone to support me with that, 8 or 9.
Yeah, we should. So we have 8 or 9 with cash, 0 without cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then the whole China manufacturing process.
Currently, it's not a hair on fire problem, but like that is an important piece of the business. So I would say like 6.
And when you say 6 in terms of you would
7,
want help out of, you would want help.
Oh, so it's like, it's not a current, like maybe my cost of goods right now is $75 per unit, but if I actually get into it, I could get it down to 65 or 60, and it takes being actively vetting and consistently understanding what the market is like from different suppliers.
Okay, cool. How about overseeing paid ad funnels? 1 to 10, how much would you like help on that?
That's solved right now currently.
0. Tracking and optimization. Like the success and failed ad creatives and like adjusting the spend.
Again, currently a solved problem.
Great.
Yeah.
Looking at ROAS and CAC. Would you like help with that at all?
Currently a solved problem.
Awesome.
The one thing I just remembered for during is also like attribution.
Oh yes, ad attribution.
Ad or even outside of ads, like eventually if we start testing other channels, affiliates, influencers, etc.
Sales attribution.
So sales attribution. Again, that's not a today problem, but eventually that'll be something.
Like in 90 days or after 90 days or?
Especially, I think it's once we start to be investing in multiple channels. So maybe that's in 9 months.
Okay.
6 to 9 months. Yeah.
And that would be, how much would you want help on?
Eventually probably that'd probably be like secondary to the actual support of those different channels, but like maybe a 4, 5.
Okay. Post-purchase surveys?
0. That's easy.
0.
It's a plugin.
Cool, I love it. Nurture sequences for cross-sells and upsells?
Say 3. Yeah, it's not rocket science, but
resource allocation with the sales that come in?
Eventually, that's a 6.
Okay. Creating and generating alternative offers?
Again, a later problem, and eventually that's an 8.
Okay, yeah. Streamlining efficiencies with costs?
5.
It's so exciting to get to go through, because it just kind of shows what you're passionate about, what you care about, shows your ability to lead with humility. We're like, hey man, I want to get help here and not. So I really appreciate you going through this and answering it. Was there any tension or stress on your heart answering any of the numbers?
I mean, I think it was cathartic. Unlike the first round where we did the brain dump of all the things in my life, which I'm in pretty good touch and awareness of, this is actually the first time that I've actually like brain dumped the before, during, and after details of the business. And so seeing it all on paper, it just kind of makes it less abstract and all of a sudden makes it more achievable. I'm like, oh, when I break it down like this, all this is solvable. So yeah, it's cathartic.
That's awesome. Well, the Google Doc is yours, my friend. Hypothetically, is there one up here that if you knew me or my team could solve immediately for you, which one takes the cake, if any?
What's interesting is I actually marked them as 0 on this because they're currently solved problem, meaning I have an agency in place. But I think the biggest, like, I think there's I would say now two big kind of like bottlenecks, which is one is like growth, the world of growth. And what that means right now, most specifically, is ad creative and ad management, right? So if I can like really crack that code and see like a consistent profitable ROAS, like a, 4 or 5x return on ad spend and like a super profitable CAC to LTV, like that, now we're really in business, right? The second part that enables that would be the financing.
Lining up with financing?
Like having, so
options to fund the business.
Exactly. And so if there's a point in the next 6 months where we have a really clear cut return on ad spend and we can, like if I write the next 3 to 6 months, like to script, we dial in like profitable ad funnels where we know we get $1, we put $1 in, we get $3, $4, $5 out of the, top of funnel. And then, if we're profitable after factoring expenses, cost of goods, et cetera. And then we also know that for inventory financing, we put $1 in and we get X dollars out. Now I can take that and ideally just go to financiers and be like, and then just capitalize the business and then start to like really get it cash flowing, start putting in bigger inventory orders, bring down the cost of goods, and really scaling these funnels. And all of a sudden, that's where
you want to be.
Exactly. And that's where the business can grow really quickly. Yeah.
Oh. So when I asked if there's an area that you'd like pay for help, if you had to pick one here, you told me about ad creative.
Yeah.
Is that, even though you have the agency, would you like want even more firepower there for more ad creative? Is that what you're saying?
They are about 3 weeks from the first ad batches being ready to test. And the contract we have them on is 24 ads a month, 24 ad creatives a month. And so it's kind of like that's in flight, jury's out, and, we're going to see, which is exciting. I have all the faith in them. They're a really well-respected content agency. It's called UGC Factory. My friend Dane is a really close friend of mine. He's the CEO and the owner, and he's taking personal care of me. So I feel very much cared for in that. It remains the single highest leverage point in the business. So it feels one part solved, another part still the biggest leverage point.
Amazing. So are you saying, when I ask if there's anything that you would want help for on here, you pick the one that you've already hired help for? Are you saying, so just to be clear, are you saying you'd want more help or not?
It's the highest leverage point in my business. It's where the most of my focus is. I have someone there now. So like I've hired help.
Got
for
it.
Right. And so would I hire more help right now? No.
Yep.
If they don't work out, will I hire help for it? 100%.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. That's the biggest, most important thing that I
random idea. If I said I could get you 100 ad creatives to test by Friday, and so you had 100 new ad creatives, would you?
I'd probably, I'd depending on the price, but yeah.
What price would be a no-brainer for you?
I mean, an absolute no-brainer. $100.
$100?
Yeah.
$1 per ad creative?
Sure.
What price would be so high that it's like no way out of reach? What price so low that you're like, I don't think this will be any good? And what price would be the sweet spot where you like, you knew you were getting?
Yeah. I mean, definitely at $1 per ad creative, I'd be like, okay, like
Yeah.
this is, a non-starter for me would be like probably $100 per ad creative would be too rich.
Yeah. That'd be 10 grand.
10 grand for 100.
Unless you knew they were like
fire. Yeah.
Banging ads.
Yeah. I would also then, because I don't have the inventory or the capital right now to scale 100 ad creatives. And so I would get a smaller plan right now, to be honest.
Smaller than 100.
Yeah. I mean, well, because in order to effectively test 100, you need to have ad budget behind 100. So like my ad account isn't even that warm because I had to start a new ad account because I just took over the business. So like if you can't scale an ad account from 0 to 100, like a ton of ad spend without, you get flagged by Meta right now. That aside, I don't think it'd be spreading the budget too thin. and I have only 500. I'm going to have 500 units of one of my best
So
selling inventory. So anyway,
how many ads on Friday, and what price per ad would be a sweet spot value where I know I value these, I know they'd be valuable? How many would you want by Friday, and for what?
my mind goes to the agency that I ramped up with, which is 24 ad creatives a month for $5,000 a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's actually more than $100 per ad, right?
But
they're also implementing
running ads on it, optimizing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then there's, like ad creative can mean a few different things. Is it short form video, which this is? Is it like still images, graphics? So there's a whole kind of spectrum there. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
You are.
Okay.
This is perfect.
Cool.
Before we switch to the finding the wife.
Yeah.
Before, during, and after,
Mm-hmm.
which would be so fun. Just want to comment, like if I was to get you setting up email flows and lead capture, and that was to be to your dream specifications.
Yeah. That'd be a great service. I mean, and there's actually so many service providers. Instagram knows that's what I'm looking for now too. So I'm seeing like all sorts of young e-com service provider kids talking into the camera, promising email flows on Klaviyo. And it's like, I'm like, okay, like there's clearly a Discord server out there somewhere that's like educating on all this stuff. And like, so yeah, that is a great service. Yeah.
Very briefly, if we were talking about, so I know you see all the kids offering it, what would be your dream come true service where you're like, oh, these guys get it? Like, what would they provide you?
Okay. I think a dream service would be initial setup, a one-time payment for all the best practice flows implemented. A one-time payment for the setup of all the best practice flows for an e-commerce business. That also includes lead capture, maybe a couple different front ends in front of that lead capture. You could do a spin the wheel discount thing. You could do a quiz funnel. You could do a resource, a digital resource. So that, like abandoned cart, and like there's probably like anywhere from like any of the kids could tell you, probably at least 6, if not like 10 or so, like recommended different sequences and flow automations, a nurture sequence for new leads. So that would be great to see in a one-time payment. It'd be great if those were like, I don't know, there's a balance between like designed and beautiful, but also like flexible based on like we can A/B test different flows. That starts to get it outside of like the one-time payment setup, I imagine. There could be an ongoing monthly offer there for a service that like after someone is nurtured and they join the general updates list and managing the ongoing customer communications, maybe that's like once every 10 days or something.
Say, what would be, that's cool. What was the
ongoing monthly offer would be like ongoing email communications, a call with me every 2 weeks to kind of get updates from me, and then turning that into the newsletter, managing our email, managing our customer relationships through email, basically. And so a lot of that's automated and set up, but some of it will be in ongoing campaigns, updates, newsletters. And so
if this was done to the best specifications, the best practice flows, and everything was backed by data, and even potentially the data of kind of the industry you're in, where it's like, personal health type purchase data trends, and like all of this stuff was to that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be great.
And kind of off the top of your head, and then we'll go into, because I just love people seeing this is another opportunity, another financial opportunity to serve somebody just right here in front of us.
Yeah.
By just asking the right questions. So, and then we'll get into the.
Oh, you know what? Sorry.
Yeah,
one
please, what do you got?
If I could get like, if someone, let's say we have 10,000 emails in our database, and if someone could like support me, like first off, getting all my previous purchasers to like invite them to create. There was no reviews widget on the site before. So getting all the previous purchasers to like incentivize them to create reviews on the website, and then the ones that leave reviews, create invitations for them to join us for a customer development interview. And then if I could just have that handled to where like someone was conducting these interviews and getting all this in-depth customer development insights, and all of that is going into like A dream scenario here would be like a private YouTube or a private podcast stream where I could listen to or watch edited videos of my customers talking about their pain points, how they found out about the business, what feedback they have, et cetera. All those customer insights I could listen to, and then transcripts or even better, like, could be like AI generated, take all the transcripts, feed them through AI, and then just distill the most salient points from all this research. Like, that to me would be an incredible service. Yeah.
I didn't even have to ask you for that one.
There's one.
How did that idea kind of come to be?
I just remembered when we were doing before, during, after, or at some point earlier, I was like, oh, customer development. I'm new. I just took this business over 6 to 8 weeks ago. There's a lot that I don't know about. And I know a lot about red light therapy, but like, why did the thousands of people who have bought TrueLight products in the past, why did they buy them versus the rest? And also, this business is 7 or 8 years old. And like, where are the TrueLight products today in relationship with the market?
Wow.
And, like, I'm writing website copy and we're doing ad copy now for the products, but like, all of that will be informed by this exact thing. So
you've heard of Eugene Schwartz?
I don't think I have. No.
Little basement copywriter.
Okay.
That like people never see the light of day.
Okay.
Because he was so good. And he ended up writing a book, Breakthrough Advertising. His printed words sold 1 billion.
Wow. Yeah.
He's insane.
Okay.
But he says something that haunts me because I never do it all the way. But he says that copywriting is 95% research.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of do it the other way around. Like
Totally.
I talk to like 5 people and then write 100% instead of talk to 95 people and then write the 5.
Exactly. Dude, story of so many entrepreneurs, just
well, if someone would give me this service.
Isn't it a great service?
Yes, it's a great service.
Yeah.
I would buy this in a heartbeat.
There's probably someone listening to this who's going to do it.
Talk to me about how you would go about valuing this and how you personally would think about price in terms of this beautiful customer development thing, and it's getting you the podcast where you can listen to it. What price would be so high where you're like, it's out of reach, not for me? What price is so low where you're like, dude, this is not going to do a good job? And what price would be in the sweet spot where you're like, bang on, that's great? And how would you think about that?
I could see it being a variable, right? And so it's like, and then I'm dividing it by my cash flow constraints. And then I'm dividing that by how important this is. So like, if I could right now, like currently where I am, I could probably allocate $1,000 a month to this. And I would love to see that being based off of at least 10 to, it'd be a dream to get like 20 interviews out of that, like $1,000 a month for 20 interviews or something. What does that work out to? $50 an interview. That feels doable. Too high. Like, I think around like $5,000 a month I could not afford. And there's certainly, like, now that I mentioned, like, this is definitely a service that people offer out there, like these high-end enterprise level type shit. But like $5,000 a month is probably too high. I think at like $300, $500 a month, I might question the quality.
Cool. All right, perfect. This is enough. Thank you for this session.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll rock the wifey.
Let's do it.